Hi, I didn't see you there. You just caught me doing one of my favorite things, lying on the internet. You see, I said a while ago that I would do a video on this. Wait, is there a fucking echo problem? Oh my god. Is there a fucking echo issue? Oh my god. Is there a fucking echo issue? Oh shit. Oh my god. Is there a fucking echo issue? Oh shit. Oh my god. Is there a fucking echo issue? Oh shit. Let's try that again. Sorry. I'm so sorry for that. Let's just pretend that never happened, and let's start this whole thing over again. And the camera fell over. Okay. Everything was set up perfectly, except that fucking echo. Okay, that's good. Okay. And scene. Oh, I didn't see you there. You just caught me doing one of my favorite things on the internet, lying. You see, a while back, I said I would do a video on this album right here, Donald Fagen's The Nightfly. I said that I would do a video similar to the videos I did talking about Everything Must Go and Two Against Nature. But that was clearly a lie, because I haven't fucking done it until now. So, I decided that to make up for that, I would not only finally talk about it, but I'd do it on a live stream, and I'd dress up to make a fool of myself too. So, you guys win on every point there. Let me just make sure everything's going fine on the stream real quick. Come on. It says there's only one person watching. It's not. It's. I like sent it out to a server of like 100 people and only one person's watching. Okay. Are you the Roboto? Are you the only person watching this? Because for me, it says there's only one person here. Well, that's really disappointing. There were like 5 people waiting. Why is there only one person watching? There's not much point for me to do this if there's only one person here. So, I don't understand. I'm gonna ping everyone again. Alright, well, I guess we'll just get on with it anyways. It says one person watching for me. Well, it might be me because I'm looking at the stream on my laptop. So, I should explain the way this is going to work. This is going to be similar to the videos that I do where I talk about albums, except it's going to be live. And there's a lot of chances for me to fuck up in some way and for me to make a fool of myself. So that's great. And also, as you saw before, I have that laptop down there to read chat if you guys are saying anything throughout the stream. I put a decent amount of work into this set. I know it looks terrible, but we have this big TV displaying, a part of the album cover on top of the table, and I've got a suspicious beverage here. So I'll be drinking that, and you'll be able to hear it because my fucking lavalier mic. Okay. Oh, I think Static just tuned in. Did you? Hey, Static, what's up? Okay. So, Donald Fagen's The Nightfly. It's his first solo album, the first album of anything Steely Dan related after Gaucho. Obviously, as all you know, this came out in 1982. And it was kind of a surprise to many at the time, I believe, that he would make a solo album so soon after the band broke up. Now, I don't know how much of what's on this album was conceived before he started making the album, because some of this stuff could have been written or at least thought of around the Gaucho era or even, the Asia era. But I don't really know because, you can't just walk up to the guy and ask him. I do know that the title track of this album sounds a little bit like the second arrangement. I don't know how many other people have recognized that, but it's something that I've known for at least a while now. So let's talk about the album cover. You have Donald Fagen kind of dressed up as a 1950s like jazz radio host, and he's smoking a cigarette, I believe. There's a clock on the wall, a clipboard on the wall, this wacky wallpaper in the background, and he's queuing up a record to play. I don't know exactly what record that is because I'm not very, well tuned in the world of jazz. But this is a very iconic record cover to the people that know it, at least. There are a lot of people that have referenced this cover. They've taken photos of themselves in a similar composition. They've drawn art. So I always like the cover of this album. It's maybe not the most creative thing, but it really sets the mood of the whole theme of the album, taking place in the 50s and kind of being semi-based on his experiences growing up in the 50s. Now, back cover, I have no idea where this is, but it's obviously someone's backyard. It's just showing their house. There's a little bit of glare there, so I'll put it up closer to the camera for you. And this record that I have of The Nightfly, this is actually the 2021 the 2021 vinyl re-release of the album. That's why it may look a little bit nicer than if it was, like 41 years old. So, with that out of the way, we come to the tracks. And I dread doing this because there's not much I can say that hasn't been said already by other people. IGY, International Geophysical Year. Now, I expect most of you to know this, but the International Geophysical Year was a real thing in, I believe, 1957 It had to do with technological advancements or something. I haven't fucking looked that up. But this song is very interesting because the way I see it, it can be taken multiple ways. When they're singing, what a beautiful world this could be. What a glorious time to be free. Um, you could either take that to be that this is written from the point of view of someone from that time, and they're very optimistic about this, and this is what they believe is going to happen. Or you could take the approach that this is kind of semi written from the viewpoint of the future, and that it's poking fun of that. It's kind of like, they're saying it sarcastically. I don't know which way it's supposed to be taken, but either way, this song is great. It is a fantastic way to start off the album. Probably the most famous track from it, I believe. And you get that old myth of this song being used to sell stereo equipment. I don't know how true that is, but it's certainly a very good track to pick. Sorry. If you want to demonstrate how good your speaker setup sounds. Next up, we get to Green Flower Street. Now, this is I shouldn't have done this live. This is a song about, I believe, a man dating an Asian woman, and that causing problems in some way. This one doesn't stick too well into my brain. It's probably like my least favorite on the album, to be honest. It's it's got a very like jaunty feel to it. It's kind of quick and high action, if you can call a song about dating someone high action. But it's not something that I think of very often, to be honest. Um, we get on to Ruby Baby, the only cover on the album. And the way Donald covers Ruby Baby is that he kind of slows it down a little bit. It's not as quick as the other versions of the song covered by other people. But you don't hear people talk about this one very often. For good reason, because it's really not that interesting. It's just a cover of a 50s song done in 82 by Donald Fagen. That's what it is. Regardless, I think it I think it deserves to be on the album. It's like I said, it certainly fits with the theming, being that this album is about the 50s and growing up in the 50s. So obviously, if you had to cover any song on a album like that, you would obviously pick a song from the 50s. So it makes perfect sense. Maxine is honestly probably my favorite on the album. It's just so sincere, and it feels like Donald really puts his heart and soul into it when he's singing it. And not to mention the wonderful instrumentation that goes on throughout the entire track. It's probably the only ballad done by either Donald or Walter or Steely Dan. This is probably the only real ballad they've ever done in terms of studio work, at least. And it's just about being a teenager in like the 50s. It's not that interesting concept wise, but it is a beautiful song and my favorite off the album. Now, New Frontier was probably the second biggest, or the first, because you got to keep in mind New Frontier got a music video. None of the other tracks on the album got that, but it is probably either the biggest or the second biggest hit from the album. It's about teenagers throwing a party in a like bomb shelter. You know, these nuclear shelters people would build during the Cold War, and just going down there and partying, getting drunk. You know, having the time of your life. I suppose. Um, it's I don't know if I should. I don't know if this is the right thing to say, but it's kind of got a little bit of a disco feel to it. You know, um, kind of reminds me of Glamour Profession in a few areas, especially if you listen to the isolated tracks from the surround mix. Um, Very interesting sound. This this might be my least favorite behind Green Flower Street. Maybe either Green Flower Street is my least favorite or New Frontier because I don't know. It's really just a toss up. Next up, we have the title track. This is probably my second favorite off the album. It's uh, it's basically it basically just sums up the whole album cover. The title track does because it is basic. I keep saying basically. It is essentially about the album cover. It is the same thing. So the title track is about a '50s jazz radio host and just how he feels about his life. It's maybe kind of similar to Deacon Blues in a way, but like I said, this track kind of has a similar sound to the second arrangement if you really analyze how it sounds. Um, and you know, there are all those conspiracy theories that Donald and Walt sabotaged Gaucho. They deleted the second arrangement so that they didn't have, you know, a masterpiece on Gaucho. Um, and I never really bought into that because it just doesn't seem like something they would do personally. But if you were to go with that theory, then that would explain the Nightfly. But it is a wonderful song. The Goodbye Look is probably a, a little bit less looked at than some of the other tracks on the album. It's again kind of being in like the '50s setting. It's about a American in Cuba before the revolution, and basically he doesn't know that he's about to get axed, you know, in more ways than one. But it's a very kind of tropical song. um, I'm just kind of grasping at straws here. I like it. Walk Between the Raindrops is a wonderful track to exit to close this album with because it also has a very '50s feel, about as '50s as I think you can get without covering another song from the '50s. Excuse me, sorry, but it is a very wholesome song about walking your girl back home. You're walking through the raindrops. Um, and who could forget that great middle part of the song where he goes, "Ooh, Miami," you know? I don't have much more to say about it, but like I said, it's about as '50s as you can get without covering a song from the '50s. So that was Donald's first solo album, The Nightfly. Now, this album was obviously very well received then, and it's extremely well received now. It took me a while to kind of catch on to it because I'm kind of weird when it comes to music in that the things I like, they phase in and out. So when I first heard this album, I loved it. And then I kind of grew out of it and I'm like, that's probably my least favorite Don album. But then after a while, I started listening to it again. And I don't think it's my favorite Don album, but it is way better than I thought it was when I was kind of getting out of it. Um, I think it took a while for me to not be tired of the songs anymore because it is a very short album, like most of the Dan's and the solo careers later works. They started doing longer songs. Mm. And as a result, the albums got shorter, and the selections that they picked for each album got finer and finer and finer. You know, that's at least how I look at it. And again, I don't know how he made this album so quickly after Gaucho, because Gaucho was like literally hell for them. You know, Walter got ran over by a taxi. Um, his his then at the time girlfriend overdosed, and he got sued for it, I believe. Donald was going through some kind of like psychosis. I really don't know because basically Donald was going pretty crazy during the production of Gaucho because he was being so he was being such a perfectionist that he was having the engineers make like 500 mixes of the fade out of Babylon Sisters. So obviously something was not right in his head at that time of his life. And you can kind of confirm that because if you listen to some interviews of why he kind of dropped out after the Nightfly, is that he basically said that after he made the album, he he had like such a like profoundly bad experience with it, or that he couldn't handle the like fame or something. I think that's what he said. It's kind of hard to understand his reasoning. You know, Donald's always kind of he doesn't have as much of a way with words as he thinks he does. But um, he had to get a therapist after he released this album for some reason. I guess all the work was just too taxing for him. But you know, I gotta commend him for making this album so quickly after Gaucho, and it is certainly not. It's certainly not hindered by that, which is impressive. Is there anything else you guys would like me to talk about? I can pull up my laptop right now and I can see if there's anything you guys would like me to talk about. Um, ooh, ooh, I'm out of breath from talking so much. Yeah, this laptop is slow. Is there really only one person watching? Damn. So, since there's actually people in chat again, uh, is 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 there anything you'd like for me to talk about with this album? I went through all the tracks. I went through how it came out so shortly after Gaucho. I went through how he had to get a therapist after releasing this album. Is there anything I missed that you guys would like me to talk about? Oop, hold on. Sorry, this laptop loads pages so slowly. Talk about how it was nominated as the album of the year. I didn't know that. So when was it nominated? 82? That makes sense because this is a very good album. This was nominated Album of the Year in probably 82. But if there's nothing else for me to talk about, I don't think there's much of a reason for me to keep streaming. All that work for like 20 minutes of talking about the album. But thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys being here. I hope there's more people next time. Maybe I should have posted about this on the main channel. Um, really? Okay. Well, I'm happy you enjoyed the album. I'm being a dumbass. Album. I'm happy you enjoyed the stream, Roboto. It was 83. So I was wrong. This was nominated in 83. Okay, there you go. But thank you guys for tuning in. I tried to make it special for you guys. I hope I get to see more of you next time. And I am out. And the problem is that I have to get up out of my seat to stop the stream. So, God.